Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Gimpy, and I am here with Heroes of the Nam for you. This is one I have been excited to get to the table for a while. It's been on my shelf for a little bit, and I have just been dying to, play it, break it open, really get into it. And it was actually the next one that was requested for my lock and load playthroughs, so I am thrilled to have this at the table. There's so much going for it. Before we get started on it, I want to make sure to remind you guys to take and enter into Gimpy's Game giveaway. If you haven't, all you have to do is subscribe and comment on the video. We're in the month of March, so obviously it's the March video. Leave your comment for your chance to win, and I'll be doing that drawing here at the end of the month. So make sure you comment on that, and we'll see who wins. Now let's take and get started with our setup here. You'll notice that only half the counters are on the board, and I'll explain why here in a sec. One thing I'm definitely excited about is that I have the X maps, because some of the previous ones I've done, I haven't been able to use the X maps either because I didn't have them, or because it wouldn't fit for the larger ones. That one scenario I did that had the what was it, 32 by whatever size map. The X map for that one is just massive and too big for me to try to film. But these I actually get to use. These are two X maps. The normal size ones, like the number 4 here map, would only be about yay big, versus the X map, which you can see is just so much bigger. You can fit twice as many counters in it. It's about 2 counters with apart infantry counters, the space of the hexes. So this is going to be making it much easier for you guys to see and much easier for me to play as I go through. This scenario is the scenario Serious Firepower. I'll read this out to you. It's based on the invasion by the Marines, which, Marines, Semper Fi, that's what I'm talking about, of Daido village in South Vietnam, May 1st, 1968. The Marines spent 3 bloody days clearing the villages of Daido and Dinto. The fighting was tough, and the Marines called for armor support for the actual attack on Daido. The NVA forces holding the town, however, answered with some serious firepower of their own. So that's what we're doing. This is going to be a 10-turn scenario, and the objective, one, you're getting points for killing each side's units. All right, we won't worry about the specific points. We'll get into that on the end of the series. Both sides are going to receive 2 points for each map 2, which is the left half of what you're looking at here. Wooden building controlled at the end of the scenario. So that's going to be here, 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 and I think there's, yep, one more over here and one more up here. So should be just these buildings. I'm not sure if this one counts. These, they might. We'll figure it out on it, but I think it might just be these. They get 2 points for those. Both sides receive 6 points if they control the stone building on map 2. And the stone building is pretty much like the hard target here on the map. It's the farthest back one and the most cover. Their leader is right there with his little group of troops ready to defend it. So in this one, what other points do they get before I get started? NVA player receives 4 points for every M48, which is tank, destroyed or abandoned. 2 for every American squad or single man counter eliminated. Squads reduced to half squad are worth 1 point. The American player receives 1 point for every NVA multi-man counter, so squad or single man counter eliminated. Squads reduced to half squads are worth half a victory point. So they get more points for killing mine than I get for killing theirs. That's to be expected. Mine are elite troops versus the cannon fodder that the AI is fielding against me on this one. Now, is there anything else I need to read out to you guys? Okay, the basic gist is this is the village that is being fought over. And the NVA forces set up first, and then the Marines are coming in from the south edge, so this lower edge of the rightmost map number 4, and they're going to assault the village. I went ahead and set up the NVA troops in defensive positions, but like they're not a bunch of kill teams. All right, they are spread throughout the village like you would expect, you know, for an assault coming in. they wouldn't be all piled together in one building trying to lay out maximum firepower from, you know, one building over on this side. They'd be kind of all throughout the village. I did make sure to kind of create rally points for them though, right? They have a couple of bunkers. There's one here and one here, and with the bunkers and the buildings that are here, it creates a lot of choke points and fields of fire. So for example, this bunker, which actually has a weapon team, it's got the 75mm recoilless rifle in it, which normally can't go in bunkers, but this scenario gave a special rule that it could. So it's got a line of fire shooting down this road over in this direction, and this bunker has one shooting down this road. So it gives them control. There's a 12.7, is that 7? Yeah, 12.7mm weapon team in that bunker. So they're kind of controlling it. And then spread throughout the town is squads that have, some of them have RPGs or RPDs, you know, machine guns. Some are just the squads themselves. But there's a leader here, a medic here, and then another leader over here. So as these guys get wounded or shaken, they can fall back behind cover, okay? So they'll be falling back this way into these woods and huts, back along these ways to get behind blocking terrain to get to leaders, medics over here that can rally them, all right? So that way the NVA forces, it's a little more realistic this way, that they're spread out. They've got, like I said, fields of fire covering all the different approaches. So no matter which direction I come in, I'm going to be taking fire. And the Marines are going to be operating on, you know, kill teams. That's what you would expect. I'll show you guys those here in just a sec. But any way I come, they've got someone who can kind of pin me and spot me. Like I've got this one just single NVA squad here in one of these frontmost buildings, just kind of keeping an eye on these woods, jungle that's over here, watching this rice paddy. That's what these are here, is rice paddies. Had to look that up. I was like, what the hell is that? It looks like something sci-fi. You know, when you're looking down on it, that makes sense now. It's, yeah, rice paddies. This squad is watching in between these buildings, and the backside, you know, over this way. The buildings are blocking the terrain, so he's not able to see too far, but he's able to see far enough that if I try to make a push in this direction, they're going to see, and they can react by moving around, coming up this way into the buildings or falling back, whichever way works out best for them. And like I said, both bunkers covering the roads with weapon teams make it to where shooting up the road and trying to ram through with my armor is not going to be a good idea, because they'll be able to put some serious firepower. Now, on top of all that, way back over here behind all the buildings and tucked away is a 60 mil mortar team, all right? And these guys can fire direct or indirect fire. If they're firing indirect, they need a leader or scout to direct their fire. But it's essentially similar to calling in off-board artillery, but they're doing it with an onboard unit as long as they're within range. That way these guys are tucked back behind a building. They can't really be seen. And all I need is my guys to have, or the NVA guys to have a line of sight rather, on any of my guys that come up. And I'm pretty much probably going to be relying on the leader that's over here. Let's see, which one is that? That is the one that's stealthy. Stealthy is Lieutenant Van Doo. And then, okay, so we got Lieutenant Van Doo over here. We'll go over the troops that are in each location. That's Lieutenant Van Doo, and he has one squad with him, and they have an RPD. All right, like I said, 60 mil more team over here, and this is Lieutenant Kai. He has a squad with him that also has a RPG with them, so they are able to try to take out some tanks. And then we have the 75 mil recoilless rifle here, like I said, in the bunker. Another squad to provide cover fire, another squad to provide cover fire, another squad to provide cover fire here, also carrying an RPD. Get them stacked back up. The medic here, like I said, is a fallback point, and there is a foxhole here. Couldn't really figure out where I wanted to put the foxhole for the NVA. The bunkers made sense in these areas, but I figured I would just throw the foxhole there in case the medic had to run. He would have cover here as well if he tried to dip out that way. Here, like I said, is the 12.7 millimeter weapon team ready to fire within the bunker. Over here is another squad, and they're carrying an RPG, and then one more squad over here. So the MVA forces have 7 multi-man counters, 7 squads spread throughout in between their leaders, the different buildings, carrying a combination of machine guns, RPGs, and then the weapon teams. So they've got a pretty good setup. It's going to be hard to get in here in any direction, and they have fallback points that if these guys, say for example, were shaken, they have a chance to fall back into this hex to get rallied. Same for these guys, they can fall back there, and I'm not going to have to worry about stacking because I don't have kill teams set up on the MVA groups. So it's not like, oh my god, they've already got the full amount of guys there, so I got to figure out switching them out so I can get them rallied. They're good to go across the board. Now, my troops, let's see, since they're not on the board, I'll just kind of throw them on the board as we talk about it. I've got 2 M48s, so I'm excited about that. They have decent stats here. So these were the post-World War II tanks, main battle tanks that were being produced. Decent armor, 8.6, 4.5, 3.4, and as long as I keep the front towards the enemy, I should be okay. And with their range, let's see, they've got a range of 40, so they can hit pretty much everything on the board, but they've got a decent chance of hitting at 24 hexes. So yeah, the M48s are going to do pretty well. I'm not worried about those guys. First kill team is going to be, see, and this is why I like these bigger hexes, because you can see I kind of spread things out. 4 counters fit in the hex right there. Okay, who is this? Sergeant Ash, and he has 2 Marine squads with him that are the 364, and all of the Marine squads have the ambush ability. All right, so they have the red around their movement factor, so they can move half their movement factor and still fire, so that's good. They're also carrying a bazooka, so a little extra firepower. Now, like I said, all my units are going to enter from this south set of hexes here on map number 4, the right side, shoot up this way and head over. So that's my first kill team. My second kill team is, let me lay it out here. That is Captain Peterson, and he has the Pathfinder ability. Now that's going to make it to where him and the guys that are moving with him can move through jungle and some other types of terrain. Basically anything that's green they can move through, only paying 1 movement point instead of whatever the movement point cost actually is. Let me pause my video for a second. My neighbor's cut on some big truck. Alright, sorry about the interlude there. The room I'm filming in is like right next to my neighbor's driveway, and his truck's rather loud. So, back to where we were. My second kill team with Captain Peters. Like I said, he has the Pathfinder ability, and he has 2 squads with him. And the squads, the Marine squads, are either 264 or 364 on their abilities. This one, he's got 2 264 squads with him and an M60 support weapon. So they're going to do alright. If I can get them stacked up. Huh? And no, next one. We have Lieutenant Reagan. I mean, look at that. Tell me that guy doesn't look like a Marine. They did good. I mean, the artwork on these, especially the single man counters, are excellent. Like I said, they look like Vietnam era Marines. They did excellent. Excellent. So, Lieutenant Reagan, he has a 364 and a 264 and an M60 with him. And my last kill team is actually a hero, and it's Wozniak, and he has the gunner ability, which actually makes him be able to use a support weapon like it's his stats. All right. Effectively, his stats are 166. Okay, but since he has an M60 and the gunner ability, it effectively makes his stats 210-6. So he gets to use the M60 without any type of penalty. So that's excellent for him. He is going to be leading a 364 and a 264 group, and they have a bazooka as well. So those are my kill teams. I'll stack those guys up later when we're off camera. So that's what I'm going to have. Basically 6 groups pushing on 2 armor and then 4 kill teams, and they've got to push into the village and take control of the town and the buildings back here while wiping out the MVA forces, and got to do it in 10 turns. So this is a rather long scenario. Since I'm coming up through here, my thought process is, especially since I have a Pathfinder, right? And this guy and his squads can move through these jungle hexes very easily, that I might send him along this way, maybe send another kill team up over here into the middle of the woods. See, I'm kind of hoping I can flank them from a couple of different directions and make it to where they can't consolidate their forces. I don't want them taking and being able to pin, you know, my groups under a bunch of fire from many different directions. I want them focused all over the board. My thought is since they're spread out so much and my kill teams are a little bit stronger, that hopefully I can survive the weather the firepower they're throwing at me, while I push through and kind of pick them off one at a time and take them out. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm thinking my tanks, I might make an end run, shoot them up along this rice paddy here, because they can't drive through the rice paddies. But if I go next to it and shoot them over here, up into the northern part of map number 4, between these buildings and the jungle terrain and all this that's over here, I should be able to get into this area without getting spotted, and then maybe have my tanks make an end run around the village. And if they shoot in from this side, while I have infantry squads moving in center here and then over in this direction, I can kind of hammer an anvil and pinch them in and squish them. We'll have to see how it goes, because I can't take and send my Marines north and in there. I'll burn too many turns trying to get them into the right position. They just don't move fast enough on foot. So if I want to flank them, I have to send the tanks north. Right? We'll just have to see how that ends up working out. The Marines are going to have the first turn. They start with initiative, so they'll be coming in, like I said, off board, shooting over here, and we'll see how that pans out. But that's it. That's the startup. You guys make sure and stay tuned. I'll have the first turn for that coming up here soon. I've also got Ranger by Omega Games on the table. I haven't played through a game like that before. It's very unique. It's interesting. I like it. I'm having to kind of play through it to make sure I've got my head around it. But I'm going to start up a playthrough of that for you guys here soon, because a lot of people are wanting to see that one. So look for that here soon as well. And I have not forgotten about doing Space Infantry. I've just held it back a little bit to try and wait until I have both of them, because I did talk to the developer, the guys at LNL Publishing, and it's going to be just a little while longer before that's ready to go out, and I want to be able to show you guys what was and what is, and see how that goes. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.